Good morning to everyone. While draw the shear force and bending moment diagrams, we must convert the distributed loads into point loads. As we know that the loads are classified into two categories. One is distributed load, second one is the point load. So this is the point load. Second one is the distributed load. So further, the distributed loads are divided into two types. One is the uniformly distributed load, simply represented as UDL. The other one is the linearly varying, uniformly varying load. Just we have to convert the distributed loads into point load. Here the distributed loads must be converted into point load for calculation purpose. Then only you can find out the shear force and bending moment with a simple. Otherwise you may feel difficult. So for calculation purpose you must convert the distributed loads into point loads. As we know that the distributed loads are distributed over a span uniformly and a load distributed linearly over a span. They are graphically represented as, so this is a beam. The uniformly distributed load may be represented in such a way that, so that is at the rate of W Newton per meter. And similarly, in case of the linearly varying loads also represented, so at end A, the load is 0, and at end B, the intensity of load is increased gradually. Again, it is represented W Newton per meter square. That is the load. So distributed load. So just we have to convert the distributed loads into point loads for the calculation purpose. So let us see the one by one. First take the uniformly distributed load. So simply graphically represented as UDL. That is uniformly distributed load. Uniformly distributed load. So graphically that may be represented, so as shown in figure. For example, this is a simply supported beam, alright. So one of its end is supported with roller support as usually, and the other end is supported with the hinge. If it is distributed over a length L, that is from A to B, uniformly, that is represented graphically, that is equal, so in such a way that the rate of load is W Newton per meter square. That is the load. Alright. So for calculation purpose, it is to be distributed. For example, here the length of the span is L. The rate of load is W Newton per meter. W Newton per meter, sorry, not meter square, that is Newton meter. So let us see the next one. So for example, it is to be converted into point load for calculation purpose. That is equal. We have to calculate the total load initially. That is the total load. First one is the total load. What about the total load? The total load is, that is equal rate of load into length or distance over the load distributed over a distance. Here that is equal, what about the rate of load, for example, that is W Newton per meter, for example, into whatever the length is L meters, that is equal L meters. Finally, that is the W into L, that is newtons. That is in newtons. This is the total load. and at which point it is concentrated. This is also very important. Suppose if you want to calculate the shear force and bending moment either left to the section or right to the section, we must know the position of the load or concentrated load or point load. That's why you have to calculate the locations. The second point is the location of the concentrated load, which is equal to W. So it is always midpoint of the length over a load distributed over a distance. So that is equal here, that is L by 2. It means the W into L is concentrated at the midpoint of the AB only, that is L by 2 or AB by 2. Here we have to remember 2 points. One is the calculation of the total load and position of the load, at which point the total load concentrated. So for numerical one, that is equal to here, that is assumed as, for example, 2 kilonewtons per meter. The length of the span is assumed as 10. If you substitute these values in this equation, simply it becomes, what is the rate of load? That is 2 kilonewtons. That is 2 into, what about the length? That is 10. That is equal 20 kilonewtons. The 20 kilonewtons is concentrated at midpoint of the span over the load distributed over a distance. This statement is very important. Just you have to take the midpoint of the load distributed over a distance, not entire the span. So here the 20 kilonewtons load is distributed or concentrated at a distance either and A or and B is in the particular case, that is equal to 5 meters. Simply the converted load represented here. So this is the one support at end A. This is the another support at end B. The 20 kilonewtons is concentrated vertically downward. So it is at a distance simply that is equal 5 meters. This is the very important one. So then what we have to do? We have to concentrate on 2 points. One is the calculation of the total load and the location of the point load at which it is concentrated. So this is the procedure to calculate the shear force and bending moment, to calculate or convert the distributed load into point load. So let us take one more example for better understanding. So let us see, that is, so let us see this again same one. So this is a simply supported beam. Again, one of its end is with the same roller support and the other end is with the hinge support, as we know that. Simply I think that the load is distributed over a distance up to C only, up to C. It means it is not distributed throughout the span or entire length. The total length of the beam is here itself. Let us assume L is equal 10 meters. The rate of load is again same, which is equal to 2 kilonewtons per meter. Am I right? But it is distributed over a distance only 5 meters. Only 5 meters. So what we have to do? First we have to calculate the total load. So the total load is equal to, as you know that, rate of load into the length distributed over a distance, the load distributed over a distance. Here the load is distributed over a length or distance 5 meters only, not 10 meters. All of you listen carefully. Here the 2 kilonewtons per meter load is distributed over a distance 5 meters only, not 10 meters. This is very important one. So here we have to take 5 only, that is the length of the AC only. So here we know that the rate of load is usually 2 kilonewtons and the length distributed over it, the load distributed over a distance is only 5. Finally, the total load becomes 10 kilonewtons. This is the total load. Right? So the second one is the location. What about the location? Again, the location is, so it is the midpoint of the span, the load distributed over a distance only here itself. So location is also very, very important. Just we have to take midpoint of the AC, not AB, because the load is distributed over a distance AC only, not AB. What about the midpoint of AB? That is 5 by 2. In the previous case, it is 10 by 2 because the load is distributed over a distance 10 meters. Here, the load is distributed over a 5 meters only. Just we have to take the midpoint of 5 meters only, not midpoint of the 10 meters. So, that location becomes, that is equal 5 by 2, that is from the midpoint of AC, which is equal to AC by 2, that is equal to 2.5. Simply just I would like to redraw the same beam with the concentrated load or point load after conversion of the distributed load as a point load. So this is as usually roller support. This is hinge support, as we know that. This is point A, this is point B. As we know that this is point C. The 10 kilonewtons force is concentrated at a distance 5 by 2 from A or 5 by 2 from C, whatever it may be. So this is the location of the 10 kilonewtons at a distance 5 by 2, either A or C. This calculation is very, very important. If you make any mistake while calculating or converting the distributed loads as a point loads, the total problem may be wrong. That's why, so you must concentrate a calculation of the conversion of the distributed loads as a point loads. This is the second case. Let us see the same another example for better understanding. So the same simply supported beam, so supported with the same supports at the end A with roller support, at the end B with hinge support. So graphically the distributed load may be represented in another way also. So this is another kind of the graphical representation of the distributed load. Here the rate of load is again same, that is 2 kilonewtons per meter. So here this is the A, this is the B, this is the C, this is the D. So the total length of the beam as usually, that is L is equal to 10 meters. The length from the A to C is 2 meters. Again the length from the B to D is also, let us assume 5 meters. Definitely it would be 3 meters. So again we have to calculate the point load, then locate the at which point the total load is concentrated. So just what about the total load? As we know that the rate of load and the load distributed over a length or length of the load distributed over a distance here is, this is L, for example L1, that is equal, what about the rate of load 2 into it is distributed over a distance is 3 meters. The final value will be, that is 6 kilonewtons. Here that is the total load. So this can be, the second point is location. What about the location? Again location is again the midpoint of the load distributed over a distance midpoint of the load distributed over a distance is here, that is CD. So the midpoint of the CD, that is equal, so CD by 2, that is equal, what about the CD, that is 3 by 2, that is equal 1.5 meters from either C or D. Finally, I would like to redraw the same member or the same beam with the converted loads as, so this is the A, this is the B, again we know that this is the C, this is the D, so this is 2 meters, again it would be 5 meters, the rest of thing is simply, this is 3 meters. So it is there. Simply the 6 kilonewtons is at a distance definitely 1.5 meters from the C and 1.5 meters from the D. So just concentrate on the hatching portion. So here we have to remember 2 points. One is the calculation of the total load, and the second one is the location of the point load at which the total load is concentrated. In a particular case, particularly uniformly distributed load, so the location is the midpoint of the span over the load distributed over a distance. In the previous case, it is distributed from A to C. Here, the load is distributed over a distance CD only. So you must take the midpoint of CD, not either AC, not either AB, or not either AD. So the midpoint of the CD only. This is the procedure to calculate the uniformly distributed or to convert the uniformly distributed as a point load. The second one is the uniformly varying load. Let us see the uniform varying load. So it is also a very important one. Simply it looks like in such a way that, so graphically that is represented. Here I would like to take the same simply supported beam over a length L. One of its end is with roller support, the other end is with the hinge support. So the intensity of load at A is 0 and it is increased gradually up to B. So this is linearly. This is the graphical representation of the uniformly varying load. Uniformly varying load. Here itself the rate of load varies from A to B is at the rate of simply W Newton per meter. Again we have to calculate the total load. It is very simple. So for our convenience, while calculating the total load, let us consider the triangle of geometry. This is A, let us say this is the B, let us assume this is C. Simply it looks like as a triangle, right angle triangle. So this is the rate of loading. At the rate of loading is W Newton per meter. So what about the area of the triangle ABC? That is equal half into, so base into, here height is BC. I think that here the length of the beam is, as usually L. Here the load is distributed over a distance AB linearly from A to B, from 0 to B. That is equal to half into, what about the length of the beam is L. What about the rate of load? That is equal to W. So for example, the length of the beam is, or the load distributed over a distance taken as 10. The rate of load is taken as, that is equal to 2 kilonewtons. Finally, the total load becomes, that is equal half into length is 10 into 2. So therefore the total load is 10 newtons. This is the total load. Again, at which point it is concentrated. That is also very, very important. I think that in the previous one, in case of the uniformly distributed, midpoint means that is the centroid or center of gravity of a particular one. Here itself, the 10 newtons is concentrated center of gravity or centroid of a triangle ABC. So therefore, let us take the centroid of the ABC. So this is the triangle ABC, for example. This is the A, this is the B, this is the C. If you measure from the A, that is the vertical side, the slant side vertex. This is the vertical side vertex. So B is the vertical side. If you measure from the vertical side vertex, that is 1/3 of base. If it is measured from the slant side vertex, that is from the 2/3 of base. If you want to measure from the A, that is the slant side, measure from the slant side vertex, that is 2/3 of, this is the 10 newtons, which is equal to 2/3 of base. 2/3 of whatever the base, that is L. So here the 10 newtons force is concentrated, simply this is the beam. The 10 newtons force is concentrated at a distance is 2/3 of 10. 2/3 of 10. This is the point. This is the location. So the second one is the location is also very, very important one. That is equal to 2/3 of 10. So this is the location. So what we did here, just the area under the graph or the curve is the total load, right? At which point it is concentrated? It is concentrated at the center of gravity of the triangle. Very simple one. So total load is calculated based on the geometry, which is equal to area of the triangle, that is half into base into height. Here remember one thing, the intensity of the load at the end B is W Newton per meter. It is taken as the height of the triangle. So at A is, its intensity is 0. So that is very, very important one. So here the location is centroid of the triangle. For better understanding, let us take one more example. Say that is the same one. So this is a simply supported beam again, right? So one of its end is, as we know that, with the roller support. The other end is with support. Just in a particular case, and A and end B. So the load is distributed over a length, for example, 2 meters. At the rate of load is here, that is 3 newtons per meter. So this is the point C, this is the point D. Again we have to calculate the total load. The first step is the total load, that is equal to, as we know that, what about the geometry? This is the geometry. So this is taken as 2 meters. The rate of load is taken as, very simple, 3 newtons per meter. So that is equal to half into whatever the base into 2, whatever the height 3. These two are cancelled. The total load is 3 newtons. That is the first one. So next calculate the location. So what about the location? The 3 kilonewtons load is concentrated at the center of gravity of the triangle only. At the center of gravity of the triangle only. So for our better understanding, let us redraw the same one. This is the simply supported beam. So this is roller support, this is hinge support. Alright. So definitely the 3 newtons doesn't lies either AC or BD. Definitely the 3 newtons force lies between CD only. The 3 newtons load lies in the CD only, between the CD only. So again, in addition to that, we have to remember one more point. In this portion only, the 3 Newton's force is concentrated. So if we measure from the C, it is at a distance 2/3 of, this is 3 Newtons, 2/3 of the length over the load is distributed over a distance. Simply, the uniformly varying load is distributed over a length 2 meters only. 2 meters only. So this is the position of the 3 Newtons force at a distance 2/3 of 2 from C, or 1/3 of length over the load is distributed over a distance CD is 2. So this is the procedure for calculation. Simply the location is, that is equal 2/3 of 2 from C, from the end C, or 1/3 of 2 when it is measured from D. So this is the procedure to convert the distributed loads into point loads. The first one is the uniformly distributed load. Just we have to calculate the total load and location of the load. And the second one is the uniformly varying load. So here itself you have to calculate the total load and the location at which point it is concentrated. So now coming to the next point is shear force and bending moment. As we know that, so the algebraic summation of the vertical loads, either any one of its section is called as a shear force. Here a new term is a section. For our convenience, let us see. This is a beam, as we know that. So again the simply supported beam. This is the simply supported beam. One of its end is with roller support, other end is with hinge support, and A is supported with the roller support and B is supported with the roller support. For example, a load of W or a force of P which is equal 10 Newtons applied at a point C. So before going to calculate the shear force and bending moment diagrams, you must know the total forces or system of forces acting on a body. Here it is a constrained body. What are the constraints? One is the roller support at end A. The second one is the hinge support at end B. These two supports must be replaced by a force system according to the type of the system supports provided. So for that, initially what we have to do? We have to draw the free body diagram. So this is the free body diagram. Alright. So as we know that, let us see a force of magnitude 10 Newtons applied vertically downward. So the roller support is replaced by a force of magnitude RA vertically upward, as we know that. And so here RB vertically upward, and due to hinge support, its motion is restricted. Horizontally also. This is RBX. Simply this is the force system. How many forces are acting on a body? One is RA, second one is 10, third one is RAY, fourth one is RBY, fourth one is RBX. As we know that shear force means it is the unbalanced force on either side of a section parallel to the cross section, or vertical force. The algebraic summation of vertical forces. It is the very vertical forces acting on the beam either to the left of the section or right of the section. Here what is the section? So it means just while calculating the shear force, we must consider vertical forces only. It means need not bother about the RBX. How many vertical forces are there? One is RA, second one is 10, third one is the RAY. So I would like to divide the beam into two parts. So just I would like to cut it. So this is the cut. So this is called as section. This is called as section. For our convenience, it may be represented XX. So that is the new one or new word to all you. What is the section? Just a beam AB is divided into two parts by a cutting plane that is represented with the x-axis, that is called as a section. So left to the section called as left portion or right to the x-axis line called as a right section. What about this position? It is always perpendicular. So how many forces are acting left to the x-axis line? There are two forces. How many forces are acting on right to the x-axis? Only one. So what we have to calculate it? Simply we have to calculate net force to the left of the section and net force to the right of the section. So simply it is acting at the x-axis. So for unbalanced, what about the unbalanced force? At any position of a beam throughout the length of the beam, this is only the new thing. For our better understanding, what about the net force left to the one? For example, left to the section, upward forces are taken as positive. RA minus 10 be the net force left to the section. What about the net force right to the section? Only RBY. So this is the procedure to calculate the shear force either left to the section or right to the section. So shear force means that is unbalanced vertical forces at any position of the beam. So for example, the x-axis line may be very close to the A or very close to the B or anywhere throughout the length. Here there are two important points. One is the shear force. A shear force is a algebraic summation of the vertical forces acting on the beam. Vertical forces. The second one is the section. It means just the beam is divided into two parts, either left or right. What about the unbalanced force? Left to the x-axis. What about the unbalanced force? Right to the x-axis. And based on that calculation, you can say at any position, what about the unbalanced force? Vertically. That is the shear force. Simply, that shear force causes to unbalance the beam or any or fail the beam also. So finally, the algebraic sum of the vertical forces acting on the beam either to the left or right of the section is known as the shear force at any section. Simply just I can calculate the resultant force vertically at any position either from A or B, that may be 1 meter, 2 meter or 3 meter or at any moment. So this is the procedure. Today we discussed the first point is conversion of the distributed loads as a point load for the calculation purpose. And the second point is shear force. What is meant by shear force? How we calculate the shear force, and then what is meant by the section. So this is the procedure to calculate the shear force at any section of a beam. So let us continue the bending moment and bending moment diagrams and bending moment diagram procedure in the next class. Thank you.